What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Street Flames Crew. Today, we're gonna get into Dogface, and we're gonna get into this BEN10 situation, this All-Star JR situation. It's a lot been going on. All-Star JR bond been denied for some reason, or whatever the situation going on. But it seemed like some funny business going on because didn't didn't Jay Prince extort NBA YoungBoy? So how is BEN10 moving around for Jay Prince Jr.? Listen, I don't understand what's going on, but it's a lot of funny business going. Y'all gotta let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. And let's get to the motion.
First ring, and I'm team captain. I'm all by myself. I got third, fourth ring, but I'm saying I'm team captain out here with no first ring players. You know I gotta be pushing the field.
Well, it seems 10 is still on 10, regardless of his situation. After the ex-4K team member did an interview speaking on the entire NBA camp, Ben would comment telling him to stop lying, and he can't wait to see him, and would follow up with dropping his own location in the comment section.
Swear to God, y'all, please let the show out. I'm glad I'm down there. I just made it. Tell dude the 6 whatever name, whatever name that down there, literally down there.
See, that's crazy. He said Memo 600. Stop talking that crazy stuff. Tell him he died. So he basically saying Memo 600 is turkey, burger, egg, and cheese.
Ask him where the meat is. Or tell him to put the Valley Park. Valley Park. Right there by Walmart's College Drive. Come out here right now. Like, if you a gangster out of it, we're not finna be chasing your way, do that way. Look, come out and have a conversation, please.
Anybody who cares to pay attention to that young man, it tells a story about where he is psychologically, right? Where he is psychologically is like caveman days, because the shit he said about just put everybody on one island or in the city and let all of them kill each other. When he said what he said.
You don't know what an AI work management platform is? Okay, let me. AI-powered changes to the Monday platform in 20.
I believe he meant what he said. And when you fast forward 6 to 8 months, and when you look at the situation that he finds himself in now, you can understand why he is where he is right now. And then it gives you some clarification about how him and the rest of the NBA members found themselves in a situation where they are basically riding for James Prince Jr. about some shit they ain't had nothing to do with. And at the end of the day, no matter what happens at the end of the day.
Didn't I just say that? Didn't I just say that, yo?
They came out with the worst end of the stick. They lost fingers, they paralyzed, they had shit bags on.
Clear nothing up. Get some rights here.
In the issue. The fuck. Yeah, everybody want me. I ain't gonna do y'all nothing. Bitch, I'm well and I'm good. So pray to another devil.
That 10 good, y'all. 10 smooth, man. They better good. I told him, man, we soldiers made hard about this shit, man. He straight, good, gangster. Man, they know I come with this shit, huh? Man, I just don't like all the niggas around in this situation, but they broke good.
You can't rationalize and reason when you think like that. And then when you look at what they've done recently, you know that he meant what he said. When you look at listen, everything that happened at Confessions in Houston, you know that he meant exactly what he said. When he said the government should put everybody on the island and let them just have at it. That tells you about what he thought about his future and the future of the motherfucker who he fucked with. That's what he think about New Orleans. That's what he think about Louisiana. That's what he think about Baton Rouge. He think that that is the sum total of that young thoughts about life. He don't give a fuck about life. He don't value life. And so all you can do with like that is put that bitch out of his misery.
saying. Just pay attention. See why NBA young boy left him alone. You understand what I'm saying?
Looking at his actions right now with him being in the hospital, do you think he's changed, or will it change him for the better at all?
He definitely. He first of all, he's not in the hospital no more. He on.
Change is
He
physically
released me 2 days ago. He ain't in the hospital no more. He out. He in a wheelchair. He paralyzed. So do I think, based on what happened to him, it changed his mentality?
Right.
No, because you can look at the post that he's made since he been released. Right? There's no contrition. There's no acknowledgement that you fucked up. Not that I expect him to come out and say I fucked up. But before this shit happened, he was walking. After it happened, he in a wheelchair. There is no way, even as stupid and slow as this is, there's no way that he ain't saying to himself, I wish I could have had back.
It ain't.
We do. We make mistakes, and mistakes, but ain't in the world when you look at it wasn't because there was no beef between All-Star JR and nobody.
It wasn't. It wasn't. The beef is not with All-Star JR, NBA Youngboy, All-Star JR, and BEN10. The beef is with All-Star JR and Jay Prince.
NBA. They didn't have no issue with him. They even said as much. We don't even know that. You know what I'm saying? We jumped into that because that was some shit that Junior had going on. We had no problem with him. We don't need. So, no, I don't think them stupid ass, ignorant, retarded, dumb, slow bus riding, window licking, helmet wearing, slobbing profusely ass have sat back and thought to themselves, you know what?
I fucked up.
I would like to say that I believe they had the opportunity to reflect on it and wish they had that situation back. I did this. I don't think they have. To tell you the truth, I don't think they actually sit back and thought about anything other than sales for the current state that they need.
BEN10 and others, they tried to rob this guy while he's having dinner with a young woman. The surveillance video shows Ford inside the restaurant before the group approached him, leading to the confrontation. During the altercation, they say several people appeared to grab his necklace and watch. So we don't see him with the necklace and watch, which means they took it. Escalated the situation at some point, which, by the way, I think this is how you would describe a robbery, right? So he clearly got robbed.
So from outward appearances, when you look at the video, that video was taken by a bystander, an onlooker, but the restaurant itself had surveillance camera inside and out. So the feds had a pretty good. They have an outline of what took place and why it took place, in terms of them knowing and being able. You can know something, you can have a feeling about something, but proving it is an entirely different thing. You can know something, you can believe something to be true, but if you don't have the proof to turn what you believe to what you can prove, then it's a difference between what you believe and what you can prove. Do I think they believe that Jay Prince Jr. is at the center of this? I believe it, because nothing else makes sense. Don't forget, the NBA have already told people like academics, we didn't even know this. We ain't had never seen him before.
I told you what BEN10 told me. His version of the story was like, hey, we don't know the guy. We didn't know the guy. But, you know, he clearly had an issue with somebody who we were around. And whatever happened, happened.
So the only common denominator between the NBA and the All-Star JR, the only common denominator they have is Junior. Prove it all. You know what I'm saying? All-Star ain't made no statement. They wanted All-Star JR is not in custody. He's in custody for charged with felon in possession of a firearm.
So it seemed like they basically saying he had the gun, he broke it in or whatever. That's what it seemed like. Because why the other characters not in possession of it? So they didn't see who it dropped off or nothing?
Even though he was shot 3 people according to the police reports, he's not charged with no weapons violation in terms of hurting somebody. He ain't charged with no acts of violence at all, period. Because they know that shit never gonna stand up in the court of law, because they know that before a gun was introduced to this equation, they know that he was being assaulted, robbed.
At some point, a handgun fell on the floor during the fight. Investigators say Ford picked it up and began firing as people ran. One man collapsed after being shot while others fled to the elevator.
He came into possession of a firearm that had fell on the floor. It don't say that he had it in his pocket. It doesn't say that he had it in his waistband. It doesn't specify. It says that he came into possession of it. They're not saying that he came to that restaurant with a gun, because he didn't have a gun when he came to that restaurant. Nor did he leave with it. You telling me what motherfucker you know?
My opinion, but honestly, I don't think he went there without no hammer. I believe they all was fighting over the hammer. I believe they was grabbing him or whatever for that gun. That's just what I believe. I believe that, but what I say, that it can't be right. But listen, it just looked like they was fighting over a slammer. Let me know what y'all think in the comments section.
Don't have a gun, bust some nigga out, and leave that gun in the restaurant, or leave that gun in the area where you know the police going, because he knew he came back. He knew he wasn't gonna trade back. Then what I'm gonna take it for? I'm gonna leave your bitch right here. Think about it. Bro, you from New Orleans yourself, Louisiana yourself, born and raised. When do a motherfucker ever pop up like that and you know you dead ass wrong, or you leave that? You know it was your gun and you leave the bitch.
Yeah, it don't happen.
No, you don't leave that bitch, man. That don't even make no sense. That shit sound ridiculous.
Say, bro, what's your thoughts on Prince Jr.'s involvement, bro? You have any thoughts on that at all? You guys know each other? Have any guys running? I
don't know him. I know also JR, and prior to JR being incarcerated last week, he appointed me his spokesperson as it specifically relates to his social media or his YouTube presence, I should say. He appointed me his designee. Talk about this to be aware of what's going on with him in the case. So that's what I've been doing. He told academics that person. He told Vlad TV that person. Poetic. So that. Well, he told Vlad academics that over the phone. Personally, that yeah, Dogface speak for me. Me, a Dogface.
And so what?
The word that's important to know is it's some corruption. There's some corruption in play right now, right? So let me just make sure we're on the same page.
There was some corruption shit going on too, because that case never came up with Duke the Jeweler. The case never. What's up with that case with Offset now? Like, there's a lot of stuff that need to be spoken about that haven't been brought back. But I guess that's why they really stays in Dallas. I mean, Houston.
This case in its entirety is not a federal case. Right? This case is at best.
At best.
What do you ask? Charged All-Star JR with being a felon in possession of a firearm. Now,
Is that his first
the
time
feds
getting
don't
pulled
pick up
behind?
every firearm case. They pick this one up because of the national implication it has. Number two, because they are questions. When they tried to question when he speak to them
That
through
right
his
there,
lawyer.
cap. That ain't the reason why it's federal. It's federal because he went to a whole different state. After that situation, he left, but he left the gay.
He lawyered up right away. When he left to come back to Detroit, he lawyered up right away. When he left to come back to Detroit, he lawyered up right away. And they wanted JR,
That
even
ain't
though
how
they
you think
saw
that
what
they
happened.
wanted him
They
to
saw
tell.
everything play out on video,
Make
like the whole
sense.
world did, like you did. You can see when you see a video, you see some jumping on one, and you see it pulling the chains, and you see it robbing the motherfucker. And if you didn't see that with your naked eye, what you did, the federal dropped, you saw flame articulate on the course of the scuffle, the course of the crime that was being subjected to, being and robbed. He came into possession of a firearm and he used it. So we got people saying, "Oh man, he cooked, he fucked up because he went too far. He came back and he stood over a motherfucker."
BEN10 admitted, yeah, he did stand over me. He had no bullets.
He did stand.
He admitted he got shot. He had said, according to what he said, I felt like he said it once or twice. He didn't really say.
And my whole thing, like I said, I don't believe there's no way Main Man got shot in the hand by him just raising it up and shot him in his hand. No, I believe they was fighting over the gun and he had his hand over the gun and he shot. That's what I do believe.
Number, but he did say he didn't get shot. His body showed me.
You can't tell somebody who's being beaten by 5, 6 people. People bringing up chairs. People got guns. People all crap. You can't tell a motherfucker.
It was on him for a minute too. It was on him for a long time.
Yeah, you listen. Listen, they was jumping on him for minutes. When the shooting happened in less than 1 minute. So you telling me you can't tell me at what point he deemed himself safe? Because even though when he was jumping him, he flamed the two closest to him. He flamed their bitch ass like he was supposed to. That's one. Number two, that's like 7, 8 people jumping you. You get a hold to a gun, you start shooting. Man, a motherfucker can't tell you when you thought in your mind that you were safe. Because motherfuckers still running around. You don't know what's going on. You know what's going on. You don't know who got gun, who done got gun. You don't know nothing. You don't know what they shooting. They shooting nothing.
Your
For a
instinct.
motherfucker to say,
So my whole thing is, how did Main Man get shot in the hand? Ben10 or the other boy, they had to tell him they was fighting over the gun and he tried to pull it out.
your instinct and then your adrenaline rushing. You ain't even in your right frame of mind. You in fight or flight, man. And then also had multiple shootouts 5, 6 years ago. And he got shot on robbery. You know what I'm saying? Poles falling on the ground. You know what I'm saying? It's him by himself with a female. He wasn't with a gang of guys. And he had the opportunity to see him. No, he was a female. And he was approached by and women and everybody else. He don't know what the fuck going on because he don't know none of these. That's it. So it's not like he was in the position to know these guys. It was not like that he knew the temperament of these guys or he knew these guys well enough to know how far they were willing to go with what they was doing to him. So he responded and reacted based on instinct and based on trying to save his own life and to protect his own personal property.
Some call let's make that clear, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, for everybody that don't know, Dogface been, he been on the run. You know what I'm saying? So make sure y'all go Google, YouTube search him. He been doing this thing. We just seen him with that girl Henny the other day. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I respect about Dogface. Because not only is he touching the big platforms, he's coming down to the small people, man, to come holler. You know what I'm saying? So we appreciate you, Dogface, man. What's good with you? How you doing today, brother?
Yeah, but Rockstar Smut Free TV is not a small platform, bro. You have when it comes to urban media, when it comes to the culture, I don't let nobody try to convince you that people are not tuned in and tapped in with you because you're doing a damn good job of curating conversations and convincing people to come in here and chop it up with you. You know what I'm saying? Not even on no gossip shit, but just to come in here and kick it. You know what I'm saying? So don't let these niggas try to make you feel like that you ain't that, you that. You hear me?
Yeah, I appreciate that. For real, for real. No, I'm definitely, trying to make it in cement around here, you know what I'm saying, as far as the media game on the West Coast, you know what I'm saying. I'm definitely
Yeah.
one of the go-to niggas, I feel like. You
And
know what
I
I'm
saw
saying?
I saw that Matt Barnes situation with Black Sam. I
Yeah.
saw that, and I wasn't mad at it. I don't know the whole backstory, and this is when they gonna turn that into that. But the fact,
Well,
listen, bro, when you get mentioned on when your story, when the things that happen to you get mentioned on platforms like that, that's proof positive that your story is newsworthy, bro. You hear me? People
yeah,
know who you are. You hear me?
yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah. And that was, that was Sam first time talking since that incident. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's really big. Then that was really big.
Yeah, that's his first time talking about that situation. I guess that I feel like Matt Barnes was the only one that had balls enough to really ask him, like, what's up with Rockstar? What's up? Woo, woo,
Right.
So, that was kind of just like, for everybody who wanted to answer, if we cool, if we whatever, that was everything nipped in the bud yesterday,
hmm Yeah,
you
he
know.
answered it. He answered it. I mean, listen, he answered all the questions about it. It was what it was, and it is what it is. You hear me?
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, like I said, I posted it myself. Like people like, that's what my boy was just saying right now. Like, nigga, you posting this shit. Like, you not tripping. Like,
Why
you
would you?
taking it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So listen. One thing you can't be if you operate in this space is you
It's
can't have
sensitive.
thin. You can't be sensitive. You can't have thin skin because listen, man, we talk about everything.
Exactly.
Whatever topics to come up that are newsworthy, we talk about it. We chime in on it, and so you got to put yourself in other people's positions. You can't be sensitive if you know that when you talking about other people, we're talking about other people's situation. And there's one thing we know about black people do not like to be talked about, bro. You hear me? But
Yeah.
a motherfucker kill you for having the wrong type of conversation about them, man.
You ain't lying. Hey, niggas get killed for less, right?
Yeah, do.
Hey man, so what's going on, man? Last time we talked, we I had some little technical dysfunctions, whatnot.
hmm
Um, but you had gave us an update on JR. Where does that update stand as of now?
Well, as of now, his next court date is on the 14th. Um, he has been extradited. And people call it transferred, but I call it extradited because when they take you from one state to another state or one country to another country, that's extradition. So he's been extradited back to Houston. He's in the Southern District of Texas, in a federal holding facility, and waiting for the hearings to unfold, bro. I talked to him again. What's say Friday, Wednesday. He in good spirits. He in good spirits, and he was just waiting for everything to unfold.
Okay.
Everything I told y'all before in terms of how we look at it and how he views it, it is what it is. He was picked up because he refused. So listen,
Refuse
there's
to
a
cooperate.
there's a bunch of he was a felon in possession of firearm. Rockstar, let me tell you this, bro. I, I'm not a criminal anymore, but if you were to look at my criminal history, anybody would call me a career criminal, bro. I've been getting in trouble since I was 12 years old, like felony shit, right?
Yeah.
Listen, a felon in possession, being a felon in possession of a firearm is not automatically a federal offense. Being a felon in possession of a firearm, right? Unless you get caught in the commission of a felony that's already on a federal level. That doesn't the feds don't always pick up. The feds don't pick up the majority of felons who get caught with a gun again. I know niggas who got 2 or 3 gun charges and they never went fed. It's all state cases, and not
Mm,
just in Michigan, from other places. Getting caught with a firearm as a felon does not automatically bump you up to the feds. You feel what I'm saying?
yeah.
There are other factors they take into consideration. Uh, there are other factors they take into consideration before they actually grab your shit, like your overall criminal history. Jr. don't have no extensive criminal history, bro. He ain't no motherfucker. He don't got no 35 felonies.
Oh, okay. So you think he gonna get a bond? That's what I'm
Um,
hearing.
I don't know, and it's a lot of weird shit going on, bro. So I don't want to say yeah, but in my mind, he should have received a bond at his first hearing in Detroit. In my
Mm,
mind,
mm.
that when you look at the criminal complaint, and you have the criminal complaint, you have it right.
Yeah, yeah. You sent to me. All right.
When you look at the criminal complaint, before you get to anything, listen, bro, before you get to anything involving a gun, people are stuck on the gun shit. Before you get to anything surrounding or involving a gun, you have an assault being committed on him, and you have him being robbed. The
Yeah,
criminal complaint, the criminal complaint articulates in explicit detail that All Star Jr. was, and it says he was being assaulted by multiple people, and he was being robbed. It says that people were snatching his chains off. It says that somebody had took his watch off his wrist and put it in their pocket.
yeah,
So when people are saying, "Well, then, well, you know, he fled the scene, he left the state," that's after the fact. You don't have any of this shit. You don't have nothing concerning no gun without looking at the assault and robbery or bail. So I've been criticized because people saying, "Hey, Dogface, you saying they robbed somebody? You saying they assaulted somebody?" My nigga, that shit was on camera. And I'm sick and tired of niggas being children in terms of the way you look at this shit. I ain't us talking about what happened and me being a person who he appointed to speak on his behalf on YouTube and social media. Us saying what happened, that ain't me telling it. That ain't me ratting. That's me just simply telling what the facts that already that exist. But if a motherfucker want to say me point out the fact that he was being jumped, assaulted, and robbed, if a nigga want to say that's telling, I don't give a fuck what a nigga say. They can say whatever they want to say. You hear me?
yeah, yeah.
I want to make that clear. That's my man. Listen. I didn't meet All Star Jr. after this thing happened. I've been knowing Jr. for 10 years, bro, and we've always had a decent relationship. We've always been cool. The other things that he went through, like getting shot in the face, when that happened, once he recovered, I spoke to him about that. I wished him well.
I
You
was
know what I'm
gonna tell.
saying?
I was gonna ask you this too. Uh, or you think they're gonna use that? You know, what I'm saying the defense that he's been shot before, and you know that probably blacked out, panicked. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know because I'm not a part of his legal strategy. If I had to, if I was his lawyer, I would say yes, because the fact, so, so Texas is a stand your ground state, and the law that allows a felon to temporarily possess a firearm when he himself or somebody with him is being assaulted or being robbed in some way. That
Yeah,
law that allows a person to possess a firearm temporarily, that law is a federal law. Those are federal considerations. The state has it too, but on the federal level has recognized that in some instances, a person who is a felon can possess a firearm to defend themselves. And then there are other criteria that says that you can possess a firearm, but you can't take it anywhere. You have to leave it. You can't take it and transport it somewhere else, right? But you can pick it up and use it in defense of yourself or somebody who's with you, right? Your physical person or your property, right? So there's a law that says that. So what people are doing, people are saying, well, he overkilled. He did too much. If he hadn't came back and did X, Y, and Z, then we can see that law being applicable to him. But let me
Yeah.
tell you something, bro. You can't tell a motherfucker at what point, from a psychological standpoint, you can't tell no motherfucker. I'm gonna stop cussing because I don't want you to bleep this out. You can't tell another human being, bro, when in his mind he thinks the threat is over with. He fighting 5, 6 guys.
Yeah.
They
That's
got
all.
chairs, all other kind. So he's not standing over the whole situation, looking to see who is exactly doing what.
Yeah.
So in your mind, you can say, well, damn, he went too far. But who are you to say far? If he was white, if he was a white man, if he was a white man in a situation like that, being jumped by 5, 6 niggas, nobody would be saying that white man went too far
The
That's a
police
fact.
overkill all the time.
all the time.
Yeah, yeah. You ain't lying though. You ain't lying. Free JR. We hope we
Yeah,
get up out that
absolutely.
situation. You feel me? We don't wish jail on nobody. You know what I'm saying? What's the update with Ben 10 and they situation? And he out now. I mean, will he corroborate? Is he fully corroborating? I mean, what's going on with
They
the
already
details of
they
that?
they already made statements. They already made statements saying that the gun was not theirs, that the guns was JR's. And then Daddy and Ron, he even went so far as to go to his Instagram. When he went to his Instagram, the last post that he made was a picture with him and the gun in his hand, and him saying, they always say that shit happened when you ain't got that thing on you. So he's already basically he telling y'all what he told them. Since I'm saying that because since we saying, well, JR, he shouldn't have made a video. JR shouldn't have made a rap song. JR shouldn't have made an Instagram post.
Yeah,
Well, what is Daddy and Ron saying when he's saying the one time I ain't had that fire on me?
yeah,
He's letting them know it wasn't my gun. So
yeah,
he's telling the whole world what tip he on.
yeah,
They made statements and they said it wasn't him. All Star JR didn't make no statement. And when he got back to Michigan, he lawyered up. He switched attorneys since that point, but he lawyered up and he didn't say nothing. Now you could say, well, he shouldn't have made a video. Because I heard somebody who has no credibility in the situation whatsoever say, well, he made videos, he did this, he did that.
No, all
He
the
did
trash from out there ends up in here.
they
he did
throw it
all
in here. They got it.
Like, is motherfuckers throwing
he
shit
he
over here? Like,
he did all that because he know he ain't did shit wrong. You hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah,
You can argue. You can argue whether it was wise or not for him to make a video or make a song or make a post. You can argue that all day. But the fact of the matter is, you can't get away from the fact that he was sitting in there. There's a lot of misinformation. When BEN10 and Daddy and Ron started talking, one of the first things they said was, because we was laughing at them because they ran and left their mans. So when they started talking to academics, they told academics, well, JR was in there with 4 or 5 other guys, and those 4 or 5 other guys ran and left him too when it was just a fight. We now know they was lying. He was never
yeah.
in there with no other guys. He was in there with one woman having dinner.
Did you know you could be entitled to a 5 or 6 figure payout if you suffered a serious injury at work?
And so it's a bunch of misinformation around there. So I sent you all the information about Atlantic Ocean. I sent you information
Yeah,
proving
with
that
the menu. With the menu and stuff.
the actual birthday celebration was not at Confession. The birthday celebration was at a restaurant called Atlantic Oceans. I sent you all the proof. They even had special menus printed up
Yeah.
with OG 33's name on the menu. It was a
So
birthday. It was a birthday novelty.
So
They
they
were
lied
not.
about OG3 having a birthday party at the same place he was at. That
Yes,
was a
they
lie.
lied. They lied about that. 100% lied about it. So
Wow.
listen, don't forget, Junior said, Jay Prince Jr. said that he was late for the party because he had to go to his aunt's birthday party, which was a family function, and then he had to go to physical therapy. Why are you talking about physical therapy at 11:30 at night, nigga? What physical therapy office open in the world at 11, 10, 9, 10, 11, 11 o'clock at night, 9, 10, 11 at night? Why you even bringing up, if you went to physical therapy at 2 o'clock, why you talking about that shit at 11:30 at night?
Do you think JR no, not JR, but Jay Prince Jr., you think his role is gonna be, do you think it's gonna be significant in this? Do you think that he's actually gonna be subpoenaed in
Eh,
XYZ?
Well, so listen. So let me tell you the position that we are in. The position that we are in is that this. So we're not talking about any shooting because he ain't been charged with no shooting. So we don't have to justify why he shot anybody. We don't have to, at this point, we don't have to justify why he shot anybody. We don't have to justify whether or not if he smacked him with the gun or not. We don't have to justify if it was over, if it was over, if he overreached or overstepped, right? We don't have to justify or answer for whether he spit in that bitch ass nigga face. We ain't got to talk about none of that. All we got to talk about is under what circumstances he came into possession of a firearm. He doesn't know where the firearm came from. The firearm hit the floor. He seen it while he was being assaulted. He grabbed it and he shot them bitch ass niggas until the gun couldn't shoot no motherfucking more. It was 8, 9 niggas. It was, well, how many? One, me count. I think it was 6, 7 niggas jumping on him.
But listen. So now do we get to a point to where, since they might be saying, okay, that's not my gun, they might be telling on him saying that's his gun. Does he gets to tell on them back saying that no, that's their gun? Like, I mean,
Well,
how does that work?
how it works is he doesn't know where the gun came from. He just knows that the gun appeared and he grabbed it, just like the criminal complaint. So
But no,
let's
but
just.
what I'm saying is, if they're saying that that's his gun, the other party is, can he defend himself and say, nah, that ain't my gun? He just gonna say he don't know where it came from. He can, I mean, to me, it
So
seems like somebody's gonna have to tell on somebody. That's what I'm getting
so
from it.
listen. And when we talk like that, I want to raise their conversation up a couple of notches because this is when you get dumb nigga shit, and this is when you get stupid ass niggas who always talk about. Now, I'm not saying what you're saying is that, but this
Yeah.
is when you get nigga shit involved in it. Does he tell? If he says that, is he a snitch? Hey, what he's saying is not my gun. I don't know where it came from. The affidavit doesn't say that the gun came from him, nor does the affidavit say that the gun came from either one of them. The affidavit says that it during while being assaulted and robbed, a gun appeared. It doesn't say from who. It
Yeah.
doesn't say how it appeared. It doesn't say whether it was on the floor, under a table. It says a gun appeared, and he took possession of it, and he used it on the people who were assaulting and robbing him.
Yeah.
He don't know where the gun came from. He don't know. And listen, Rockstar, he being jumped on by 5, 6 niggas. Niggas got chairs in the air. They jumping on him. They pulling his chain, snatching his watch off. He don't know where it came from. He can't say where it came from because he ducking his head trying to stop from getting kicked, stumped,
That's a
and
fact.
hit.
That's a
He don't
fact.
know where it came from.
Yeah.
He could if he wanted to say it came from this nigga, he doesn't know. He doesn't know because he was ducked down. When you look at the video, he's trying to cover his head up, stop him from being hit in the head. He's trying to keep his jury on. He's trying to stop niggas. He don't know where it came from. He doesn't know where it came from. What he does know is that when that bitch hit the ground, he heard somebody saying, "Get the gun, get the gun." That's when he even was aware that it was a gun. Come on, listen, bro. He being assaulted and robbed by 6, 7 niggas. He heard somebody say, "Get the gun, get the gun." He had the presence of mind to look just like everybody else was looking.
Yeah.
When it just so happens the gun was closer to him than anybody else.
All right
If
now.
JR If JR had a gun, so you got all these legal beagle expert ass, Matlock ass niggas. Watch this. Under it's a bunch of man. Well, niggas would have did that because niggas wasn't this and niggas wasn't that. All right, watch this. You tell anybody on here who is street nigga, anybody on here who been in the shootouts or been in the gang fights or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You tell me under what circumstance you get confronted by 6, 7 niggas. One of the niggas that part of this shit is a nigga that you had a problem with for 3 years, right? All-Star JR didn't even know these niggas was NBA niggas. He don't know them. BEN10 and Dead and Ron already said they had never seen him before. He had never seen them niggas is not no popular members of the NBA.
Yeah.
3-3 is recognizable worldwide because he be with NBA so much, young boy so YB so much. But these other niggas look like just other niggas. We in a restaurant, nigga. It's 11:30 at night. These gremlin people under the stair looking ass niggas look like every other nigga. You hear me? These niggas ain't no special about these niggas to where he knew them. These niggas ain't no hustlers. These niggas ain't no millionaires. These niggas swapping out chains, bro. One picture video, you had a nigga wearing an NBA chain. On the other picture, if you got another nigga wearing it, they passing jewelry around. These niggas ain't no millionaire niggas who known for stepping and known for getting no motherfucking bunny in Houston, bro.
Yeah.
So he didn't know these niggas at all, period. So my question to you is, if I got a stick on me, and I see 5, 6 niggas, 7 niggas confronting me, including the nigga who I know, James Prince Jr., who I got a problem with. If I see these niggas approaching me, they not gonna be able to touch me if I got no fire on me, dog. If I got a stick on me, I'm not waiting on nigga hit me before I'm finna shoot your bitch ass, bitch.
That's a fact.
On my mama. It don't even make no. So speaking of what don't make sense, what don't make sense is if he already had a gun on him, why would he wait till niggas get on him and take all his jury off of him before he pull that bitch out? Nigga, as soon as you raise your hand, bitch, like you finna get aggressive, I'm whipping that thing out on you, nigga.
I ain't heard one lie yet, man.
Bro,
Hey,
you get all these niggas chiming in. Well, this don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. Why would they show up there with kids and women and children? Them niggas was high on lean, pills, weed. Why would they get up and leave Atlantic Ocean and go to Confessions when Confessions is gonna close?
Yeah.
Why would they do that? They were never seated in that. Hey, watch this, Rockstar. This is gonna come out. They were never seated in that restaurant. There was never a party in that restaurant. And so somebody said, well, man, they got pulled. They got pulled. The restaurant was going to stay open longer for them. The restaurant was going to stay open longer for them. Who got pulled? Who got enough pull to make a phone call to get to a restaurant when it's closing and leave that bitch? Who got that kind of pull?
Jay Prince, we know that.
Yeah, but see, here's the fact. The fact is, James Prince Jr. said he arrived late to a party that was already ongoing. That's what he said. You can't get away from that. He made a statement. He said he got there late, and and the party was already ongoing. The party was not ongoing. They got there together. We're going to subpoena phone records. We're going to subpoena social media posts.
Yeah.
We're gonna subpoena all that shit. We already got the storylines from 3 of the niggas who was with them that night.
Yeah.
In the storyline, none of the story shows them getting haircuts. It shows them at gas stations. It shows them pouring up lean. It shows them in the car. It shows them at Atlantic Ocean. It even shows the menu with OG's street name printed on the menu, which is where his birthday party was. And we already have surveillance footage from Atlantic Ocean proving that the party was there. Yeah. They got up and they left and they drove to Confessions and they met James Prince Jr. in a parking lot. They had a conversation in the parking lot and they all came into the restaurant together at the same time. It was not a situation where there was already a party ongoing at Confessions. There was no party there, so nobody was late because nobody was there. The only person who was there was All Star JR having dinner with one other human being, and that human being was a woman. He was on a date. It's these gremlin ass people under the stair, Freddy Krueger, son of a thousand maniac niggas. It's these niggas who allowed James Prince Jr. to convince him to come to a place after he got the drop on JR, after somebody called him and said, you know, the guy you got a problem with is here. So they said, well, Dogface, why you saying that? How you saying that? Rockstar. Niggas having conversations about this shit and saying one thing, and then they contradicting themselves in some other way. So watch this. They saying, hey, Dogface, well, how you know somebody called and gave him the drop? How you know the same know that they all arrived at the restaurant at 11:30 and somebody had enough pull to keep the restaurant open for these dope fiend high ass gremlin ass niggas to have a party after hours. If James Prince Jr. got enough power to keep the restaurant open for these little gremlin ass niggas, then James Prince Jr. had enough pull with somebody in that restaurant for somebody to call him and get him to drop on All Star JR. Think about it.
Yeah.
Come on now. Niggas want to have it one way. Niggas saying one thing, then they saying something else. So niggas just talking and just saying whatever is caused to say at any particular point in time. But then if you sit back and think about what they're saying, they contradicting themselves. There is no footage of them having a birthday party. These niggas is drunk, high, on everything.
Mm.
And said, well, they wouldn't be so stupid as to bring their families, girls, and kids to a situation where they knew that they was gonna get into a situation. Yes, they would.
Mm.
They ain't that stupid. But wait a minute. They on Instagram pouring up lean, talking about they selling lines of lean for $250. They on Instagram with box with drums on it, shoved down their motherfucking waistband. So these niggas is not the smartest niggas in the motherfucking equation, bro. These niggas is drunk, high, and retarded. Now, when you put drunk, high, and mix that shit with high levels of retardation, ain't no telling what you can get out of that.
High level retardation is crazy. Hey, yeah, man. Like I said, man, free JR. Hey, what's the court? The court day is a bond hearing that's coming up.
No, it's a preliminary hearing.
Preliminary.
Yeah,
Okay.
and at that preliminary hearing, the judge can consider we are going to ask for a bond at the preliminary hearing. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Because he's not a flight risk. He did not run from the law. He didn't stay on the scene, but he's not a flight risk. Everybody in the world know who All Star JR is right now. You hear me?
Yeah. He basically can't go nowhere without being noticed. Right.
Yeah, he can't get nowhere without being noticed. And on top of all that, if he has to surrender his passport, which I'm sure they will, he'll surrender the motherfucker. At the same time, you got to take a look at how is he the only one locked up?
Yeah, out of everybody. You're right.
And here's another question. This is what people are missing. Is this a federal case now? Or is JR's possession of the firearm, is it federal for him? Has the feds pick up the whole case? Or is it just JR?
Yeah,
That's a
what is
question
that?
nobody's asking. Is this case a federal case now, or is just the weapons possession by JR the federal case?
Mm.
Because did the feds pick it up all the way, or did the feds just pick up JR? See, these are the questions that nobody's asking, bro.
Okay, I get you.
These are the questions that nobody's asking. Is this now a Fed case all the way through and through,
Yeah.
or is just JR has a Fed case pending because he's a felon in possession of firearm? Because if the whole thing is a federal case now, then
everybody need to be in question.
everybody needs to be in question. Come on, man.
No, that's
You
a
don't
fact. That's a fact,
you
man.
don't
It still baffles me that them niggas wasn't. Hospital, that shit is just crazy to me. They're literally on camera trying to rob and jump somebody. Like, that shit is crazy. But yeah, man, that's how this shit go, man. The streets, man, don't love no one, right?
Yeah, so listen, I want to say this too. Some of the YouTubers, bloggers, and all that from Texas specifically, they try to say, well, JR is gonna tell on something. Well, hold on, bitch. These hoe ass niggas already told on something. JR ain't been. We know they told on something because listen, ain't nobody even talking about. Let me tell you how irresponsible some of these podcasters and bloggers are, and let me tell you how much influence James Prince Jr. and NBA YoungBoy got. Listen, this is one of the only platforms that motherfuckers are even talking about. Well, wait a minute, bro. Uh, wait a minute. Why is JR the only one locked up? His criminal complaint says that he was being beaten and robbed. And the NBA camp and the J Prince camp, they trying to squeeze motherfuckers not to even have these kind of conversations about the shit. They trying to intimidate niggas. Now, it's not just by the force of threat. Is that they trying to say if you even ask why those niggas ain't locked up, you a rat, you a snitch, you advocating for a nigga to get locked up. But wait a minute. At the same time, these same niggas is laughing at All-Star JR. These same bloggers, these same bitch ass niggas, the other bitch ass niggas is laughing. Yeah, here's what he get. That's what he get. That's what he get. As a real nigga, ain't no real nigga in America. Ain't no real nigga in America saying All-Star JR was wrong.
Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, you want to see more videos like this, hop in the comments, get my likes up. It doesn't cost nothing for you to support. Become a member ASAP.
A man who went by the name Ricky Hampton, better known to the streets as FINESSE2TYMES, sat in front of his phone on May 3rd, 2026 and typed his own record contract into ChatGPT, and what came back destroyed him. No sugarcoating, no lawyer spin, just the raw, unfiltered truth about what he had signed his name to back in April of 2022, a document that, according to the AI breakdown, gave Mob Ties and Atlantic Records ownership of his masters forever, final say over his music decisions, the right to recoup every dollar spent on him in jewelry, private jets, and luxury accommodations before he sees a single penny, and an assignment clause that lets the label transfer his contract to any other label at any time without his consent. No cap. This man used ChatGPT and found out he had been finessed on a level that most rappers don't survive. He said it himself live on Instagram. Y'all got me good. And then he begged for help. Not from his label, not from his management. He posted to the internet and asked if anybody could help buy him out of his situation before he, quote, crash out and do something that get me a life sentence. That's where we are right now in 2026. FINESSE2TYMES, the Memphis rapper with gold plaques on his wall, the man whose record Back End went viral on TikTok and pulled over 70 million views on YouTube, the same man who was fresh out of federal prison in July 2022 and turned his career into a rocket ship in under 6 months and is sitting on the outside of a deal worth an estimated $13 million in future value, unable to touch it, unable to leave it, locked in. And the man who holds the key is J Prince Jr., son of the most feared executive in the history of Southern hip-hop, who founded a label called Mob Ties and used his father's legendary name, power, and connections to sign Finesse to a 360 deal that literally covers every revenue stream the Memphis rapper will ever generate. Music, tours, merch, likeness, all of it gone, signed away. And here's the absolutely insane.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
The godfather of Houston rap, the man who built Rap-A-Lot Records from a used car lot in Fifth Ward into one of the most powerful independent labels in hip-hop history. He's the one who told Finesse, "Don't get a lawyer." Let that sink in. The man whose entire legacy is built on outsmarting major label executives, protecting his artists' interests, and knowing the business better than anyone in the room, told a newly released felon rapper who was blowing up fast that he didn't need a lawyer to look over the contract. And Finesse moved on loyalty. He thought it was an honor. He thought signing to the Prince family was a blessing. 4 years later, he's on Instagram crying, releasing a guerrilla project called Labels to a YouTube playlist because he's so desperate to put out music that he's bypassing his own label entirely. And even that might get him sued. This is the story of how J. Prince Jr. finessed Finesse 2 times out of $13 million. And we're going to break it all the way down from the very beginning. Stay locked in because every single section of this story gets wilder than the last. Before we can explain how this deal went sideways, you have to understand what Finesse 2 times represented the moment he got out of prison in July 2022. Because this wasn't just some mid-level rapper that a label took advantage of. This was a moment, a genuine cultural wave, and somebody saw that wave coming before Finesse even knew how big it was going to be. Ricky Hampton, born June 10, 1992, grew up in Memphis, Tennessee, one of the cities in America where the streets and the music are so tightly connected that it's almost impossible to separate them. Memphis rap has always had its own identity: raw, heavy, personal. The kind of music that comes from a place where survival is the first language everybody learns. Finesse had been putting in work for years. His YouTube channel launched in November 2018. He dropped his first song, Back Though, in March 2019. He was grinding. But the streets caught up to him before the music could fully take off. In 2017, he was performing at the Power Ultra Lounge nightclub in Little Rock, Arkansas, when shots were fired. The next day, the U.S. Marshals picked him up in Birmingham, Alabama. Federal prosecutors hit him with charges connected to a June 25, 2017 incident where they alleged he fired an AK-style pistol at someone outside a nightclub in Forest City, Arkansas after a verbal altercation. He pled guilty to 1 count of being a felon in possession of a firearm. In December 2018, a judge sentenced him to 5 years in federal prison. He walked out on July 1st, 2022, and within 3 months, the man had a record deal with 3 labels simultaneously. Think about that timeline. Released from federal custody July 1st. By September 2022, he had reconnected with Moneybagg Yo, a fellow Memphis rapper he had known for over a decade, and signed to Moneybagg's Bread Gang Entertainment. By October 2022, he had added J. Prince Jr.'s Mob Ties to the picture. And through Mob Ties, he got a distribution deal with Atlantic Records. 3 labels, 4 months out of prison. The energy behind Finesse at that moment was undeniable. His song Gucci Flow with Gucci Mane dropped and started getting traction. Then, Back End went nuclear. That record hit the Billboard Hot 100. It spread across TikTok, 70 million YouTube views. The industry was watching it, but here's what really went down. Somebody saw that wave coming and made sure they were standing on top of it before Finesse knew what was happening. Let's rewind to 1987, Houston, Texas, 5th Ward. A man named James Prince, who everyone in the South would come to know as J. Prince, is standing in a rundown 2-story building that used to be a used car dealership. He doesn't have much money, but he has vision, a work ethic built from the streets, and an understanding of power that most people in the music business won't develop for decades. He co-founds Rap-A-Lot Records with a computer science major from Seattle named Cliff Blodgett. The initial goal isn't even to make money from music. It's to keep his younger brother Thelton, known on the streets as Sir Rap-A-Lot, away from the life that was pulling at all the young men in Fifth Ward. That simple act of brotherly protection turned into one of the most powerful record labels in the history of America. J. Prince assembled the Ghetto Boys. He found Scarface in the parking lot of a club he owned, playing demos to a DJ. He recruited Willie D through the recommendation of his barber. What came next was history. The Ghetto Boys put Southern rap on the map before anybody in New York or Los Angeles was ready to take the South seriously. Prince moved the label to New York in 1988, got in rooms with Def Jam executives Lyer Cohen and Russell Simmons, and literally watched them show him checks for LL Cool J and Houdini to illustrate how much money was in the music industry. Six-figure checks. And rather than being intimidated, Prince took that knowledge back to Houston and built an empire that would eventually inspire Birdman at Cash Money Records and Master P at No Limit Records. He's not just a label executive. J. Prince Sr. is one of the architects of the entire Southern hip-hop industry. The federal government investigated Rap-A-Lot in 1989. They found nothing. The DEA put probes on Prince in the 1990s, convinced the label was a front. The agents were later convicted of corrupt conduct. This is the family that J. Prince Jr. was born into. Now fast forward to 2017. Junior is coming of age and wants to build his own lane in music. He founds Mob Ties Records. He has his father's name. He has his father's network. He has access to every room in the industry that matters. At 19 years old, his older brother Jazz Prince had already discovered Drake on MySpace, linked him with Lil Wayne, and helped launch the biggest career in modern music. This is not a family that makes amateur moves. In 2022, Mob Ties signs a distribution deal with Atlantic Records and Moneybagg Yo's Bread Gang Entertainment. That's a major play. Atlantic is one of the largest labels in the world. Moneybagg Yo is at the height of his commercial power and represents the Memphis sound that FINESSE2TYMES grew up in. The infrastructure is in place. And then FINESSE2TYMES walks out of federal prison on July 1st, 2022, with nothing but talent, hunger, and a deep-seated need to prove that the 5 years he lost didn't break him. That combination, a desperate, talented artist with no legal representation and a label infrastructure looking to sign the next wave, is where this story starts getting crazy. By September 2022, Finesse and Moneybagg Yo had settled a years-long feud. These were two men who had history going back to 2012 when they were both part of a Memphis rap collective called Memphis Greatest Underrated. They had a falling out somewhere along the way. But by September 2022, they were good again. Moneybagg Yo signed Finesse to Bread Gang Entertainment. And they even released a collaboration called Black Vita together. That was the first domino. But here's where it gets crazy. The same month, Finesse signed a Bread Gang.
You know what AI management platform is? Yikes.
Another direction, because J. Prince Jr. was watching. He saw the energy around this Memphis rapper. He saw the streaming numbers climbing. He saw what Back End was doing on TikTok before most people understood how big that record was going to get. In October 2022, FINESSE2TYMES signed to J. Prince Jr.'s Mob Ties Records. Now from the outside, this looked like a blessing, a triple label deal. Atlantic, Bread Gang, and Mob Ties is the kind of arrangement that most independent rappers dream about. Atlantic provides distribution muscle. Moneybagg Yo's Bread Gang provides cultural credibility in the Memphis lane. And Mob Ties provides the Prince family's legendary industry muscle and street credibility. But Finesse wasn't looking at it from a legal perspective. He was looking at it from an emotional and cultural perspective. He said it himself later. He moved off loyalty. He thought it was an honor to have J. Prince Sr. involved as his manager. Having the original godfather of Southern hip-hop vouching for you, endorsing you, guiding your career, that felt like a crown. It felt like a sign from God that his comeback was real. J. Prince Sr. told him he didn't need a lawyer. About the deal, the revenue split broke down like this. Finesse would receive 35% of music revenue. Mob Ties would receive 35%. And J. Prince Sr., as manager, would receive 30%. Let that math hit you for a second. FINESSE2TYMES, the artist, the talent, the person whose voice and name and face drive every dollar generated, gets 35 cents out of every dollar. The label and the manager combined take 65 cents before recoupment, before expenses get deducted, before the cost of the private jets and the jewelry and the luxury hotel rooms that were provided to Finesse as part of his deal get clawed back. And remember, this is a 360 deal. That means Mob Ties isn't just taking from his music revenue. They have contractual rights to his touring income, his merchandise revenue, his endorsement deals, his brand partnerships, his name, his likeness. If FINESSE2TYMES gets paid to appear somewhere, Mob Ties gets a cut. If he drops merch, Mob Ties gets a cut. If he builds his own clothing line, Mob Ties gets a cut. He doesn't own his masters. According to the ChatGPT analysis of the actual contract, the label owns his masters forever. The contract also includes automatic extension clauses, meaning the deal can extend itself without requiring Finesse's explicit approval, and it includes an assignment clause that allows Mob Ties to transfer his contract to another label at any time without needing his consent. He signed away everything, and he did it without a lawyer at the table. By December 2022, FINESSE2TYMES dropped his debut commercial mixtape 90 Days under the Mob Ties/Atlantic/Bread Gang structure. The project featured Lil Baby, Moneybagg Yo, and Gucci Mane, three of the most commercially relevant names in rap at that moment. The tape had real momentum behind it. Things should have been perfect. But here's where it gets real. An artist can have all the cultural momentum in the world and still see almost none of the financial return if the contract they signed is structured to extract maximum value from the label's side and minimum return to the artist's side. And that's exactly what was happening. Fast forward to January 2026, almost 4 years after signing that contract in April 2022. FINESSE2TYMES jumps on Instagram and makes it plain. He's not whispering in private. He's not sending quiet messages to management. He's on social media, in front of his entire fan base, saying that Mob Ties is the worst deal he ever signed and that he wants out. Junior, I want out my contract too, he says directly. I don't want to be Mob Ties no more. I want my own society. Let me go, Junior. He's not done. He compares his situation to slavery on camera. I should have just went to Atlantic by myself, he says. Why is it motherfuckers that ain't got no hits, ain't accomplished nothing? How the FK are they getting in these rooms I ain't getting in? I got gold plaques and see, all this talent is just going to waste. At this point, this is slavery. Let me out, let me go. I don't want to do the album no more. That's a man who is completely done, not frustrated, not venting, done. The situation hit a new level by March 2026 when Jay Prince Jr. responded, not by addressing the contract dispute, not by offering solutions, but by trolling Finesse on Instagram over his physical appearance. Jr. posted and implied Finesse had gotten liposuction and cosmetic surgery, captioning it, not a N.
It's May of 2026 and we have an
hair. I think you need to go back, that bad BH energy ain't work. Finesse came back in the comments composed. The difference between me and you is, I accept who I am, you don't. The street level back and forth between an artist begging to be free and a label head trolling him on social media was playing out in front of millions of people. The music industry drama had become entertainment, but underneath it there was a man genuinely in crisis about his career and his financial future. Then came May 3rd, 2026, the moment that changed everything. Finesse went on Instagram with his girlfriend and filmed himself putting his actual Mob Ties contract into ChatGPT, live, in real time. He said he had finally found the physical contract. He had gotten a lawyer to look at it, but even the lawyers who reviewed it were hesitant to take the case on fully because of who the other party was. Multiple lawyers had reached out, he said, but the energy around actually fighting the Prince family in court was making it difficult to find proper representation, and so he turned to AI. And what ChatGPT came back with confirmed every fear he'd had. 360 deal. Confirmed. The label has rights to his name and likeness and profits from anything involving him across all revenue streams. Masters. Gone. The label owns them forever. He has no ownership stake in the recordings his own voice appears on. Recoupment. The advances, the jewelry, the private jet flights, the luxury hotel rooms, all of it had been logged as expenses against his account. Every dollar of that has to be paid back before the label owns them forever. He has no ownership stake in the recordings his own voice appears on. Recoupment, the advances, the jewelry, the private jet flights, the luxury hotel rooms, all of it had been logged as expenses against his account. Every dollar of that has to be paid back before Finesse sees any real money from his music career, and those recoupable expenses can and will be used as leverage against him in any renegotiation attempt. Assignment clause. Mob Ties can transfer his contract to any other label at any time without his permission. He could wake up tomorrow and find out his contract has been sold to a label he's never met. Automatic extensions. The contract can extend itself without requiring his signature or his approval. He could theoretically be locked into this deal for the rest of his viable commercial career. According to the ChatGPT breakdown, any attempt by Finesse to walk away from the deal could trigger legal action against him or further recoupment claims. There is no clean exit. There is no easy out. He is, by every contractual standard, locked in. He put his reaction in writing for the post caption, and every word of it hit like a gut punch. I moved off loyalty. I thought it was an honor to have Jay Prince, the old man, be my manager. Y'all told me I didn't need a lawyer because all they do is fuck over people. Well, it looks like to me y'all worse than lawyers. I'm asking as a man, can somebody please help buy me out this situation before I crash out and do something that get me a life sentence? Because the way I'm going out, it's guaranteed I'm not gonna die in the process. He added, let me out or I'm gonna spend my entire life to bring y'all down. And then, finding out I don't own my masters, I agreed to a partnership. Y'all got me good. Y'all got me good. That's a man who has accepted he was played, not on a street level, not in a beef. On paper, in a boardroom, with pen and ink. The finesse was legal, airtight, and executed by people who had been in the business of making these kinds of deals for decades before FINESSE2TYMES ever recorded a single bar. Here's what really went down with this contract structure, because a lot of people hear 360 deal and don't fully understand what it means in practice. A 360 deal, also called a multiple rights deal, is a contract structure where the record label doesn't just take a percentage of your recorded music, they take a percentage of everything. Your touring revenue, your merchandise, your endorsement deals, your brand partnerships, your appearances, your licensing deals, your name, your image, your likeness. The logic from the label side sounds almost reasonable on paper. We're investing in you as an artist, not just as a recording act. We're going to spend money promoting you, building your brand, getting you in rooms and on stages. In exchange, we want to participate in all the revenue that our investment generates across your entire career. The problem is the word all, and the other problem is recoupment. Recoupment is the mechanism by which a label takes back every dollar it has ever spent on you before you see any royalty payments. The recording costs, the marketing budget, the video budget, the advances, the jewelry, the travel, the hotel rooms, the private jets, all of it goes on a tab, your tab. And until out, you don't get paid royalties, even if your records are generating millions of dollars in revenue for the label. This is how artists become commercially successful and financially broke at the same time. This is how you can have gold plaques on your wall and no money in your bank account. The math is set up that way from the beginning. In Finesse's specific situation, the revenue split was already lopsided before recoupment even enters the picture. He's getting 35% of music revenue, and that's before expenses are deducted. The label head gets 35%, J. Prince Sr. as manager gets 30%. That means the two entities who put pen to paper across from Finesse collectively receive 65% of what his music generates. And remember, this is a 360 deal, so they're also participating in every other revenue stream in his life. The ChatGPT analysis also flagged the assignment clause as one of the most dangerous provisions in the entire agreement. When a label has the right to transfer your contract to another entity without your consent, they can essentially sell you. Your career becomes a tradable asset. Another company, one with different values, different priorities, different relationships, could end up holding your contract, and there's nothing you can legally do about it. The automatic extension provisions mean the deal can renew without Finesse actively agreeing to renew it. These kinds of provisions exist in many label contracts, but when combined with a 360 structure, no master ownership, and heavy recoupment, they become a trap door. You think the deal is almost over, then it extends again. The lawyers who've looked at Finesse's situation understand why it's difficult. The Prince name carries weight. Taking on mob ties and Atlantic records in litigation is expensive, time-consuming, and professionally risky for any entertainment attorney who still wants access to the major label ecosystem. This is why Finesse said even lawyers were hesitant to fully commit to fighting this. He released a project called Fuck Da Labels as a guerrilla move, just a YouTube playlist of previously unreleased music. No label involvement, no official release. He was so suffocated by the deal that releasing music to a playlist was the only way he could breathe creatively, and even that move could potentially expose him to breach of contract claims. This man can't win inside the deal, and he can't easily leave the deal. That is the trap. To understand why Finesse signed this deal without more resistance, you have to understand the weight of the Prince name in hip-hop. J. Prince Sr. is not just a music executive. He's a figure whose reputation crosses the line between the music industry and the streets in a way that almost no other executive in hip-hop history has achieved. His reach is so respected and so feared that when he speaks, things move. Not because of physical intimidation alone, because of a track record built over 4 decades of being right, being powerful, and being connected at every level of the game. He built Rap-A-Lot Records from a used car lot in Houston's 5th Ward starting in 1986. At a time when the music industry was completely controlled by New York and Los Angeles, J. Prince went to New York, studied Def Jam Records, watched how Lyor Cohen and Russell Simmons operated, saw the real checks being written for LL Cool J and Run DMC, and brought that knowledge back to Texas. He assembled the Ghetto Boys. He found Scarface. He was the first person to build a major Southern rap empire from the ground up, and he did it independently, on his own terms, without surrendering the kind of equity that destroyed lesser executives. He inspired an entire generation of Southern label executives. Birdman at Cash Money, Master P at No Limit. Both of them have publicly credited J. Prince Sr. with showing them how to build in the South. The blueprint that those labels used to generate hundreds of millions of dollars in the 2000s started with what J. Prince built in Houston in the late 1980s and 1990s. His son Jazz Prince, a different son from J. Prince Jr., discovered Drake on MySpace as a teenager. He got Drake connected with Lil Wayne, facilitated one of the most important relationships in the history of modern music, and helped launch the biggest commercial career in rap history. The Prince family fingerprints are on Drake's entire origin story. J. Prince Sr. managed Floyd Mayweather before they had a falling out in 2003. He manages boxers at the top level of the sport through the Prince Boxing Complex in 5th Ward. His charity work, his political connections, his street relationships, this man operates on a level that most people in the music industry will never access. When J. Prince Sr. tells an artist they don't need a lawyer, It doesn't sound like manipulation. It sounds like wisdom coming from the most connected man in Southern hip-hop. It sounds like the Godfather looking out for you, because that's the reputation he spent 40 years building. And that reputation is exactly what made it so effective when it was deployed against Finesse 2 times in 2022. Finesse was 4 months out of federal prison. He was hungry. He was buzzing. He was getting attention from everywhere. And then J. Prince Sr. himself, the legend, the Godfather, the man who inspired Cash Money and No Limit, offered to be his manager personally. That's not an opportunity that comes with skepticism. That comes with gratitude. J. Prince Jr. had been building mob ties since 2017. He had the Atlantic distribution deal locked in. He had the Bread Gang partnership with Moneybagg Yo in place. He had a real label infrastructure. He wasn't just trading on his father's name. He had built something real. But the name still opened every door, provided every access point, and created the level of trust that allowed a 360 deal to be signed without independent legal representation reviewing it first. That's the move. Not loud, not threatening, just trust. The most valuable currency in the music industry, deployed with surgical precision. Let's talk about what $13 million in value actually looks like in this situation, because the number needs context. Finesse 2 times came home from federal prison in July 2022 with a following he'd built online through years of grinding. His TikTok presence, his YouTube views, his Instagram engagement, all of it suggested that when the right record dropped, the ceiling was high. Back End proved the ceiling. That record entered the Billboard Hot 100. It pulled over 70 million views on YouTube. It spread virally on TikTok. In the streaming economy of 2022, a record with those numbers translates into real money, but only for the people who own the rights to it. The 90 Days mixtape featured Lil Baby, Moneybagg Yo, and Gucci Mane. In terms of commercial credibility and feature placement, that's a top-tier debut. Lil Baby alone was one of the most streamed artists on the planet. Not a small thing. That kind of exposure drives streaming numbers, playlist placements, and long-tail revenue that compounds over years. His 2024 debut studio album, Art of War, didn't chart the way the label hoped, but his streaming catalog was still generating consistent revenue. He was performing live, building a touring base, developing merchandise, and expanding his brand footprint across social media. Every one of those revenue streams, streaming royalties, touring revenue, merch revenue, appearance fees, sync licensing, endorsements, flows through the 360 deal structure. Every dollar Finesse generates in any of those categories has mob ties and the Prince family taking their combined 65% share before recoupment. When industry observers estimate that this deal traps approximately $13 million in value over its lifetime, including the projected future earnings from Finesse's career across all those revenue streams, that number is not abstract. That's Finesse's career earnings being systematically redirected by a contract he signed without independent legal counsel in October 2022, 4 months after getting out of prison. At the height of his early buzz, when he was most vulnerable to the feeling that every opportunity had to be grabbed immediately before the wave passed. He mentioned that he's made $400,000 on a subscription-based platform. That's real money, but against the backdrop of what his music career should be generating, given the streaming numbers, the chart placements, the cultural impact, it's a fraction of what a properly structured deal would return to him. I should have just went to Atlantic by myself, he said, and he's right. If Finesse had gone directly to Atlantic Records and negotiated independently with proper legal representation, he would have kept a significantly larger share of his own revenue. He would own his masters, or at minimum have a path to reversion. He would have control over his release schedule. He would be able to release his own music without risking a breach of contract claim. Instead, he's releasing music to YouTube playlists and calling it "fuck da labels." As of May 2026, this situation is still unfolding. Neither Atlantic Records nor Mob Ties has publicly commented on Finesse's most recent Instagram revelations about the ChatGPT contract breakdown. J. Prince Jr. has responded to Finesse's public complaints, but only in the form of personal attacks and social media trolling, not with any substantive engagement about the contract itself. That silence on the business side is deliberate. You don't respond to contract disputes on Instagram. You let the legal structure speak for itself. For Finesse, the options are limited, but not non-existent. One legal argument that has been floated in online discussions is the possibility of claiming he signed under duress. If he can demonstrate that the conditions under which he signed the contract were coercive, that the power imbalance, the absence of independent counsel, and the specific instructions not to hire a lawyer constituted a form of pressure that made genuine free consent impossible, a court could potentially void or modify the agreement. That is an extremely difficult case to make. Courts are generally reluctant to undo contracts, especially when the party arguing duress had any opportunity at all to seek outside counsel. The fact that Finesse had a lawyer look at the contract at some point, even if that lawyer was later hesitant to engage fully, complicates the duress argument. There is also the question of unconscionability, the legal doctrine that allows courts to void contracts whose terms are so one-sided that enforcing them would be fundamentally unjust. A 360 deal with no master ownership, an assignment clause, automatic extensions, and heavy recoupment, all signed by a man who was explicitly told not to bring a lawyer, might present a credible unconscionability argument. But again, these cases are expensive, slow, and uncertain. The buyout option, which Finesse publicly asked for help with, would require someone to pay the label enough money to make releasing him financially worthwhile. Given that the contract represents millions in projected future revenue, the buyout price would be significant, and nobody has publicly stepped up with that kind of capital. On the streets and in the culture, the response to Finesse's situation has been largely sympathetic. His fan base is engaged. People are watching. The conversation about 360 deals, artist rights, and the music industry's exploitation of artists who come from vulnerable backgrounds has been reignited by his public disclosures. But sympathy doesn't modify a contract. Viral outrage doesn't dissolve an assignment clause. And Instagram support doesn't pay the legal fees required to fight Atlantic Records and the Prince family in court. The situation also carries personal legal weight for Finesse outside of the contract dispute. He was facing a warrant in Texas for alleged terroristic threats related to a custody dispute involving a child he later found out via DNA test was not his biological son. He faced a lawsuit over a 2023 nightclub shooting in Georgia, where 5 people were injured. His legal situation outside of the mob ties dispute was already complicated. A man under that kind of cumulative pressure, legal threats from multiple directions, a contract dispute with one of the most powerful families in hip-hop, public humiliation from the label CEO, and financial strain from a deal that's capturing most of his earnings, is exactly the kind of pressure that leads to desperate decisions. His Instagram posts reflected that desperation. The reference to potentially doing something that gets him a life sentence suggests a man who is genuinely feeling cornered. This situation is bigger than FINESSE2TYMES versus J. Prince Jr. This is a story about a system that has been in place since the music industry figured out how to monetize black artists' creativity. The 360 deal didn't start with mob ties. It's been a standard weapon in the major label arsenal for decades. Labels pioneered these deals as a response to declining album sales in the digital era. As physical music revenue collapsed, labels needed new ways to sustain their revenue models. Attaching themselves to all revenue streams of an artist's career was the corporate solution to a business problem. The artists just happened to be the ones who paid the price.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base44, a complete AI creation platform. Describe what you want.
What makes the Finesse situation unique, and uniquely painful, is the role that the Prince name played. J. Prince Sr. built Rap-A-Lot Records on the principle of protecting his artists from the predatory practices of major labels. He went to New York in 1988 and studied how those label executives operated, specifically so he could circumvent them and build something that gave Southern artists a fair shake. That origin story is a genuine part of hip-hop history, but the tools he learned, the business structure, the contract mechanics, the understanding of how to capture maximum revenue from talent, those same tools in the hands of a new generation can cut in either direction. J. Prince Jr. took his father's understanding of the music business and used it to build mob ties. He secured an Atlantic distribution deal. He brought in Moneybagg Yo's Bread Gang for Memphis credibility. He signed FINESSE2TYMES at the exact right moment, when the artist was buzzing, vulnerable, grateful, and unrepresented, and he structured a deal that will extract maximum value from Finesse's career for the foreseeable future. And that's not a mistake or an oversight. That's a play, a calculated deliberate, legally airtight play, the same kind of play that J. Prince Sr. himself learned by studying the executives at Def Jam. The legacy of Rap-A-Lot is real and important. The Ghetto Boys changed hip-hop. Scarface is one of the greatest rappers of all time. Bun B and Pimp C defined an entire era of Southern music. J. Prince Sr. deserves every piece of his legendary status. But legacies are complicated, and the tools of power, when passed down, don't always maintain the original intent. For FINESSE2TYMES, the lesson is one that has been learned by artists across every genre for as long as the music industry has existed. The contract is the real record deal. Everything you see on the surface, the advances, the private jets, the jewelry, the features with Lil Baby and Gucci Mane, the billboard placements, the viral TikTok moments, all of it is built on a foundation of paperwork. And if you don't read and understand that paperwork, if you let someone you trust tell you that you don't need an independent lawyer, then none of those surface-level wins belong to you in any meaningful financial sense. The artists who maintain generational wealth in this industry are the ones who own their masters. Jay-Z has spent the last 2 decades buying back his catalog and building ownership into every deal he touches. Drake negotiated terms with Young Money and Cash Money that gave him more control than a standard deal would allow. Taylor Swift's public fight to own her masters reshaped how the entire industry talks about artist rights. FINESSE2TYMES is not in a position to negotiate from that kind of strength right now. He came out of federal prison with momentum but no leverage. He had buzz but no business infrastructure. And the people who offered to be his infrastructure extracted a price that he didn't fully understand until he ran his own contract through an AI chatbot 4 years later. Y'all got me good. That line is going to follow this story for a long time because it says everything. It says, I trusted you. It says, I didn't read the fine print. It says, I understand now what I signed, and it's too late to undo it easily. And it says, I'm still here, I'm not done, I'm fighting. Today, Finesse is putting music on YouTube playlists and calling them projects because releasing music independently is the only creative freedom he has left. He's publicly asking for someone to buy him out of his deal. He's threatening to spend the rest of his life fighting the label if they don't let him go. He's comparing the situation to slavery on camera. J. Prince Jr. is trolling him on Instagram and has not publicly engaged with the substance of the contract dispute. Mob Ties and Atlantic Records have maintained silence in response to every public disclosure Finesse has made. The deal holds. The contract is the contract, and right now, that contract has Ricky Hampton, FINESSE2TYMES, locked into a structure worth an estimated $13 million that he will never see most of for music that will always belong to someone else, with a name and likeness that a label he wants to leave can use commercially for as long as the deal runs. This is how the finesser got finessed. Not on the block, not in a fight, in a boardroom with a pen, on paper, by people who know that in the music industry, the most powerful weapon isn't a gun or a reputation, it's a contract. And FINESSE2TYMES signed one without a lawyer in the room. Let me break it down for you one final time before we wrap up. J. Prince Jr. founded Mob Ties in 2017. He built a real label infrastructure. He secured Atlantic distribution. He partnered with Moneybagg Yo's Bread Gang. When FINESSE2TYMES came home from federal prison in July 2022, buzzing harder than almost anyone coming out of Memphis in years, Prince Jr. saw the opportunity. By October 2022, Finesse had signed a 360 deal structured so that he gets 35% of his music revenue, the label gets 35%, and J. Prince Sr. as manager takes 30%. The label owns his masters forever. The deal has automatic extension clauses and an assignment clause. Every advance, every luxury perk, every piece of jewelry, and every private jet flight is recoupable. Logged against Finesse's tab before he sees a single royalty payment. J. Prince Sr. told Finesse he didn't need a lawyer. Finesse trusted him and moved on loyalty. By January 2026, Finesse was on social media calling it the worst deal he ever signed and comparing it to slavery. By March 2026, J. Prince Jr. was trolling him on Instagram about his physical appearance instead of engaging with the contract dispute. By May 3rd, 2026, Finesse was running his own contract through ChatGPT Live on Instagram, watching the AI confirm everything he feared and posting to his followers. Y'all got me good. He's been fighting publicly for months. The deal hasn't moved. The lawyers are hesitant. The label is silent. And Finesse is stuck. That's the story of how Jay Prince Jr. finessed Finesse 2 times out of $13 million. No cap. If you're an artist watching this, get a lawyer. Always get a lawyer. Get two. No matter how much you respect the person across the table, no matter how much of an honor it feels like, no matter how good the deal sounds when it's being explained to you out loud, put the contract in front of someone who has no relationship with the label, no interest in the outcome except to protect yours, and let them read every word. Because the music industry has been making these moves since before any of us were born. And the only defense against a legally airtight trap is knowing what you're signing before you sign it. Finesse 2 times knew how to finesse. But in October 2022, the finesse game was played on him by people who had been running it for decades. And until someone comes up with the buyout money, or a judge decides the contract was unconscionable, or Mob Ties decides to let him walk, he's locked in, for real.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, I got a question for you. Did you get?
I don't think you believe me.
What